Jacob Rees-Mogg, why are you attempting to defeat the government after so recently extolling Mrs May's virtues?
Well, because Chequers went back on things that she had said before. It didn't meet the commitment she'd made for Brexit to mean Brexit, or from the Lancaster House speech that we wouldn't have some half-in, half-out arrangement with the European Union. I don't think Chequers meets what the Prime Minister promised the British people, and I'm trying to keep the Conservative Party on the straight and narrow of its commitments to the electorate.
You're describing prime ministerial dishonesty.
I wouldn't put it that strongly. The Prime Minister herself calls it an evolution of her position. I think it's more of a U-turn than an evolution, and I preferred the first version rather than the second version, which is what I stood for election on and is what I promised to the constituents of North East Somerset. So I'm being consistent with what I said a year ago.
Then if it comes to having to depend on Labour votes to defeat her white paper, are you happy with that?
Well, I think it's always a mistake for a government to depend on the votes of the opposition. They turn out to be very fair-weather friends, and they may support you on one thing, but not on another.
But you want to hold them to account, but you simply don't have the votes.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see where the votes come from.
No, you know what votes you can get. You've got a sort of solid 48, 50, maybe up to 60 of your own, but not a chance on the other side.
Well, time will tell on what votes get pushed to a division, what motions the government accepts. Some of my amendments are actually a government policy. For instance, the one on Northern Ireland to ensure that there isn't a border down the Irish Sea. It's just putting the government's commitment into law, which seems a sensible thing to do.
Are you expecting any more resignations?
I have no idea. Nobody told me before they decided to resign, so I wouldn't expect people to tell me before in future.
This is very difficult to understand. I mean, you're loyal to Mrs May, but you don't want the policy.
That's right. You've put it beautifully.
You can't have it both ways. She is loyal to the policy.
Well, she has many policies. This is one policy where I disagree. This has happened before. This is not an unusual position to be in, that members of Parliament find there is one policy that their party is following that they feel is not in accordance with the principles of that party. And that is the issue with the Chequers proposals. But one can nonetheless be personally loyal and have personal respect for the Prime Minister.
But you've accused her of a U-turn.
Yes.
That describes a despair with the leadership.
No, lots of leaders do U-turns. This is not unprecedented. U-turns happen in governments. I think this is just a very unfortunate U-turn because it fails to deliver on the Prime Minister's explicit promise that Brexit would mean Brexit. And I think when people say things to voters, they must deliver on them.
Some of your colleagues have sent in letters demanding her resignation, or that, in fact, a vote of confidence be held. You're not doing that. Why?
No, I said before, this is about changing the policy, not about the individuals concerned. What I want to see is the status quo ante restored, and the Brexit policy that the Prime Minister set out in various speeches and in the manifesto implemented, rather than keeping us within the European rule book, which is what is proposed at Chequers.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, thank you very much for talking to us.
Great pleasure, thank you.